Hi lovelies, welcome back to Zany's Thoughts. My name is Zany and you are watching Zany's Thoughts. If you are coming across this channel for the first time, you are highly welcome, and please do not forget to click on the subscription button before you leave. And for all my old subscribers, thank you so much for your support. It is highly valued. So guys, there's this video making round on social media. It is about an argument between husband and wife about breastfeeding their child. This husband, his name is Bants. He's a Nigerian popular YouTuber, and he's also an actor, and his wife's name is Claire. And they brought this on social media. I guess they brought this thing to teach some people some things. It was a healthy argument for me. I see it as a healthy argument, and people has been carrying it up and down, there and there. I've watched a couple of YouTubers made a reaction concerning it. Some people are saying how the man was should I say, forcing his wife to breastfeed the baby, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, a lot of people talked so much about it that I was forced to go and check it out. Yes, I was forced to go and check it out. I went on their Instagram handle and I watched this clip of their argument. So guys, before I continue with my thoughts, I would like you guys to also watch the video with me. In case if you have not seen it before, you just watch a short clip of it, and then I will come back with my thoughts.
Wasn't, and I found out that it's not every mother. Proper example, my sister, formula, my mother, she said it got a problem, she wasn't, the child was drinking pap and water. So it's not a strange thing that people aren't able to produce milk.
I know that.
So baby, if I'm able to do what I can to increase my supply, I will, and I am. But when you say things like, oh, we have to, I'm thinking, is it possible for me to pump 6 months? We're already in what month? 2nd month. And that means you're telling me I have 4 months to produce for 4 months and 6 months, 10 months. That's what I'm hearing from you. You have a deadline. We have 1 year. You have to produce milk to feed her every day, or maybe half a day, breast milk. And I'm thinking to myself that, how much have I stored in the freezer? I prefer for her to drink directly from me. If it is that all day she's drinking from me, and for 6 months she has breast milk, then obviously it's not as if my tap will close after that 6 months. If I'm able to now store, I store as we're going.
You see,
that's what I communicated to you.
I didn't understand your own side, because all I was hearing was objection, you don't have a right to talk like this or tell me this.
But I never even said
because
you
don't
have a right.
understand what it is or how it is.
Yes, exactly what I was saying to you. You don't understand. So what you say is, how can you make me understand?
What I'm saying is, I've never even intended that till a year. Breast milk, that's all she'll drink.
But that's how
like after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, a child doesn't need as much breast milk as they need in their beginning stage. So maybe she drinks it once a day or twice a day, but not that it's throughout, because she has to be really into something else.
Aka has seen videos and pictures of women who have stocked their freezer with breast milk. Initially, before the baby came, I was like, I can do this. If somebody else can do it. And then baby came. For 2 whole weeks, I wasn't producing milk. In my 3rd week, I was trying. Eventually, it happened. Even through the stress that I was going through mentally and emotionally, I was still trying. I was just, every time I'm trying to go past that issue that was happening, just so that I can produce milk. I will record Gabby doing things during the day, so that when I'm pumping, I'm watching videos of her to make sure that I'm able to pump, And I see how the thing kind of comes and disappears in between. So when we had that conversation, I was telling you that, except you two, you will pump, because it's not me.
But that's not the right thing to say, especially at that time,
because
that's unfair.
No, because I'd explained to you that it's not possible. I told you that this pressure is not necessary. It's like you're telling me that you will on the tap, you will off the tap. That's what you're saying. And I'm like, and I explained to you that in the bathroom, that I said to you, This is what can happen. What I told you. Remember, I told you that I will breastfeed. In between, I can pump to trigger my body to produce. I told you that that's what. So what you were saying is, what's the plan? What's the strategy to produce more breast milk? I'm already doing the strategy.
Let me tell you something that you need to put in consideration, especially when you hear me and when you want to talk to me.
Okay.
Nobody.
I found that I wasn't. And I found that it's not every mother. Proper example, my sister, formula, my mother, she said got a problem, she wasn't. The child was drinking pap and water. So it's not a strange thing that people aren't able to produce milk.
I know that.
So, baby, if I'm able to do what I can to increase my supply, I will. And I am. But when you say things like, oh, I'm thinking, is it possible for me to pump 6 months? We're already in what month? 2nd month. And that means you're telling me I have 4 months to produce for 4 months and 6 months, 10 months. That's what I'm hearing from you. You have a deadline. We have 1 year. You have to produce milk to feed her every day, or maybe half a day, breast milk. And I'm thinking to myself that, how much have I stored in the freezer? I prefer for her to drink directly from me. If it is that all day she's drinking from me, and for 6 months she has breast milk, then obviously it's not as if my tap will close after that 6 months. If I'm able to now store, I store as we're going.
You see,
that's what I communicated to you.
I didn't understand your own side, because all I was hearing was objection. You don't have a right to talk like this or tell me this.
But I never even said you don't have a right.
Because you don't understand what it is or how it is.
Yes, exactly what I was saying to you. You don't understand. So what you were saying is, how can you make me understand?
What I'm saying is, I've never even intended that till a year. Breast milk, that's all she'll drink.
But
no,
that's
but
how
like after 6 months, 7
it.
months, 8 months, a child doesn't need as much breast milk as they need in their beginning stage.
But
So maybe she drinks it once a day or twice a day, but not that it's throughout, because she has to be really into something else.
Aka has seen videos and pictures of women who have stocked their freezer with breast milk. Initially, before the baby came, I was like, I can do this. If somebody else can do it. And then baby came. For 2 whole weeks, I wasn't producing milk. In my 3rd week, I was trying. Eventually, it happened. You know, even through the stress that I was going through mentally and emotionally, I was still trying. I was just, every time I'm trying to go past that issue that was happening, just so that I can produce milk. You know, I will record Gabby doing things during the day, so that when I'm pumping, I'm watching videos of her to make sure that I'm able to pump, you know. And I see how the thing kind of comes and disappears in between. So when we had that conversation, I was telling you that, except you two, you will pump, because it's not me.
That's not the right thing to say, especially
at
that time,
because
that's unfair.
No, because I'd explained to you that it's not possible. I told you that this pressure is not necessary. You know, it's like you're telling me that you will on the tap, you will off the tap. That's what you're saying. And I'm like, and I explained to you that in the bathroom, that I said to you, this is what can happen. What I told you, remember I told you that I will breastfeed. In between, I can pump to trigger my body to produce. I told you that that's what. So what you were saying is, what's the plan? What's the strategy to produce more breast milk? I'm already doing the strategy.
Let me tell you something that you need to put in consideration, especially when you hear me and when you want to talk to me.
Okay.
Nobody has been through this struggle with you more than I have. Nobody has felt your pain in this whole parenthood more than I have. Nobody has been with you, prayed for you, believed for you more than me. Nobody was there before you even started the journey more than me. I know the pain. I was there when you were having your first pain trying to breastfeed. So when I say let's make a plan, it's because I'm believing that it will get better. I'm not saying that you're a tap. I'm saying I know what the constraints are. I know the challenges. However, let's start making plans and saying, okay, this is our goal. Is there a way we can start working towards that together? I'm not saying, oh, now this is what it is. This is what it must be. No, this is a conversation that I was even just talking about, not expecting any defense. And I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying.
Yeah, you get very, like, so for example, you want to help me. Sometimes you don't say it like you want to help me. You're saying it like I'm irresponsible.
No.
Yes, baby.
No.
So you're telling me something now about how I'm listening to you. I need you to hear me as well. So maybe going forward, you will be conscious of how you're relating this thing to me. Because I will not just sit down by myself and choose to misunderstand you. This is what is communicated to me. So maybe, as I'm telling you this thing, you should put into consideration when you're So, for example, and it still goes through from how it's been, where I maybe don't close a lid in the kitchen, and you're like, you don't. It's not as if I don't.
And that happened
didn't.
a long time.
Yes, I'm just using that as an example. It's not as if I don't. At that moment, I just didn't. But when you say you don't, it's like, that's how I am. Oh, you're not pumping, or you have not pumped. I actually have. I will pump in the next 3 hours. But why do you?
So when I say you haven't pumped, I'm just being a reminder.
No, it is, babe, when will you pump? Have you pumped? Do you understand? It's not you haven't pumped, because I actually have. So when you say you haven't paid the bills, and you actually have paid the bills, and every time I'm saying to you, you have not done what you're supposed to do. You haven't done it makes you sound here, that means you're responsible.
To be honest,
to do what should be done.
I wouldn't feel, I understand you and your build-up is different from mine. But if somebody tells me, oh, you haven't paid the bills, I'm like, it's true, I've not paid NEPA bill.
Yes, but at that point you have. That's what I'm saying.
I'll just say, I have.
You don't know how much I'm working at this. So when you say let's do it together, we are not really doing it together. We are not experiencing the pain together. We are not having to sit down together for the entire time I have to pump or breastfeed. So most of the time, even if you say, oh, we can do this together, I hear you, it's a nice gesture, but we aren't really.
We are.
Yes, the only times we are is when I ask you, babe, so when you say stuff like, oh, babe, how can we, how can we increase? It's now how you should be asking, what can I do to help you increase? Then I say, oh, just maybe if you have water, that's what I need, because you can't pump for me. So when you're saying things like, how can we, and it's like as if you're just using the we, but really it's me.
Yeah, because in my mind, it's we. You're breastfeeding this child, but it's us together. Because in my mind, we are one. We are a team. There's nothing you do that is isolated. You're a half of me. I'm a half of you. When I go out to work or bust my ass or make and pay salaries, it's us.
Yes, but it's
when
not
you're breastfeeding this child,
so
it's me and you.
For example,
my mind, I'm literally working so hard. I'm shifting my mind from an I to a we.
No, baby, that's. I just use an example. The example I used is, imagine a scenario where I go out to meet my friends. You've been home the entire day, filming and editing, replying calls, you've been working. And I come back and I say, and you now say, oh babe, please do something. I say, no, we've been working, we've been.
But that's not the case, because we are both working at moving this family. Nobody's putting a.
It's just an example.
No, but that example doesn't work, because when I say we, it's a real situation where you bring your part, I'm bringing my part.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm trying to use that to relate to the breastfeeding.
So that's what I'm saying. It's unfair because I can't breastfeed. That's what I'm saying. That's unfair for you to even think or say.
No, baby. Yes, so I know.
Because if I could, I would.
Baby, listen. And I know that. I know you can't breastfeed. But when you're relating to me and you're saying the we, I understand where it's coming from. But in terms of using the we to make we go forward, is what can you bring to help me? Because truly the work.
I'm doing that.
Yes, so when you asked me that question yesterday, it sounded, what I heard was not, how can you also help me? It was mostly about, how can I increase breast milk? What I'm
Let me
saying,
tell you what I meant. Let me say this.
Okay.
We need a plan to move forward or increase supply. My vision is that this child takes breast milk till a year. What can we do? How do we move forward?
And
what do you need to do to make sure that this happens? Do we increase the pumping time? Do we?
So you didn't say anything like that.
No,
so
but
that's what you meant. But my response to you then was.
But you remember I mentioned pumping time. You even talked about.
I mentioned it. I told you what I can do to increase milk supply is when I feed her. In between, I pump and I feed her again. But I found that being here, pumping to keep in freezer, I don't feel like it's necessary. I want to feed her directly. So if she can go a whole day feeding directly from me, I know that my supply has increased because she's not crying and she's hungry. And I explained this to you, that if, for example, I feed her, now she hasn't had any formula. The only time she's had formula is 2 times in a day, which is when she's with Zoe, and she takes those 2 bottles. Sometimes I put 1 breast milk, 1 formula. So I am aware that my supply has increased. However, it can be more, Abby. It really can be more.
You know,
but where I'm at is that I want to be able to go a whole day, a whole week, a whole month breastfeeding.
So and I appreciate that, and I love that, and
baby,
I like
hold
that.
on.
But do you know why I said?
Baby, hold on. And I told you, if I'm pumping at all, it's because I want you to be able to feed her.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
so
you know
those
why
are
I'm
my
very
concerns.
particular about, or I was particular about you keeping breastfeeding in the future, because baby, in 7 months when this baby starts bringing out teeth, you're not going to be able to breastfeed because she'll be biting. How do we know she'll not be biting you?
Babe.
And that's also concern for you, your nipples, and my breast.
Babe, so with this breast milk, I don't want to be thinking of 1 year from now. I don't want to be thinking of 1 year from now. I'm thinking about how she can go a
That's
day.
why
Baby,
I'm the man of the house. That's why I'm the
baby.
leader of this pack.
So that's how
we think of the future.
So that's how I interpret that as being a tap or a tank, because you think that there are no hindrances to the supply.
That's not what I'm saying.
Listen,
I'm saying,
baby.
how do we bring your vision and my vision, and then find a middle way, a middle ground?
Baby, listen.
Because the truth is, we only think of now. We will forgo the future.
No, with breast milk, you have to increase to feed a child. As she's growing up, there'll be a time where she will need more. It's not really by pumping that I will increase. It's by feeling like if she sucks a whole feed, that's when it increases. So priority for me is that she feeds. And I told you what is priority for me now. And 1 year storage is not priority for me now. Priority for me now is that my supply increases to feed her at least a whole day. Let's stick with that. After a while, it becomes a whole month. By the time it's a whole month, she will also be doing solids. Then I'll be able to pump and stop. Can we leave it as that? And then you just kind of didn't get the point of the conversation. And then I was like, okay, if it's that one now, you two, you will pump, because clearly
What
I
I'm saying
can't
is,
pump
especially
enough
when
to
we're talking, when
satisfy
we're
you.
planning, when we're thinking about moving the family forward, saying things like that is regressive, is not progressive. Because
it's
all
not-
that seeks to do is make you feel better and annoy me.
Okay.
Because you shouldn't say things like that. It's
Okay,
insulting to me.
it's insultive to you, and I'm
Yes.
sorry. But
Thank you.
what I was hearing there was, babe, you're a tap, you're a tank, you need to produce, and that's it. It's final. The
That's
baby.
never my intention.
Yeah, but now you're saying that's not your intention, but that's what I heard. Me, I was even just pissed because this is a conversation we've not had, like we've had before, and I've explained to you what my concerns are. Like, this is me. Breast milk by itself is not something that I need to stress about. If I stress about it, I can't produce. So if I feel like you're stressing me about it, you're not helping me. And I told you this before, where, babe, please don't. I've told you before, don't stress me about this breast milk thing. Don't.
But I don't stress you.
So when you try to talk about it, you don't relate to me in a way that I don't end up being stressed. I've had conversations about breast milk with people, and they don't stress me about it. But when it's from you, and then it makes me feel like it's because you're not producing, you don't understand. And
No, but I feel
the
like
other people I've had.
sometimes I feel like it's easier for you to hear some things from other people than from me.
No,
when
that's
it comes
not
from
true,
me, you're
Aka.
like, no, it shouldn't be you talking to me about it.
Aka, that's
No,
not
you
true.
have no idea what it means to do
Really?
this. I'm telling you, that's how I feel.
About what exactly?
Breastfeeding.
Because you're a man. And
But I'm your husband.
Aka.
I'm her father.
Aka, so for example,
We can talk about it because it's part of a very intrinsic and foundational part
So
of
for
our baby's
example,
life.
yeah, all you've seen in this breastfeeding thing is not really about the troubles of breast milk. You've seen the possibilities, right? Have you really heard of? It's not until you went to immunization that you saw a woman with cracked breast, with nipples and blood was coming out. You've not really seen the trauma of this thing. You don't know what it feels like to sit and just have a machine pump you. You don't know it. So aside from just seeing the outside of something, you can only feel my pain in the way that you can imagine it. So if I'm telling you that even if the conversation should happen, maybe that time was not right. Do you understand? Maybe since you want to be defensive, let's talk about it another time. Do you understand? Like, I'm also human. There are certain things that I will hear you say, even though I know that you love me and you're doing this for our own good and for Gabby's good. Like, sometimes the way you say certain things, it makes me feel like I'm not doing anything about it. And that's why I was really just defensive. I was just like, bro, if that's the issue, since you really want this thing and it's not about what I think or what I feel, both of us will have to do it, because I can't do it alone. It's not my breast that will produce this 1 year milk. It has to be both of us. So as I'm drinking oats, you will drink oats, we'll be lactate together. And me, I was even just saying that, like, bro, please, dear. Do you understand? And I'm sorry if that hurt you, but the entire conversation was painful for me to bear. I was defensive from the scratch. I was just like, can't. Really. So I apologize if you're upset.
So welcome back, guys. I'm sure you guys must have seen this clip. People have the right to their opinion, and people also have different views of understanding something. But for me, particularly as a mom with 3 kids, I do not see anything wrong with this. You know, people tend to see things on social media and they run away with it, thinking that that is where it starts and ends. This is a couple living together in a home. Some people are saying he did not apologize. Some people are saying this. Some people are saying that. For me, I think this couple should be applauded. You know, they should be applauded, because these are young couples. I'm sure these guys were married not to, I knew because I've been following them for quite a while now, and I knew when they got married. These are young couples, you know. The healthy discussion is what blew my mind there, you know. Both of them were so patient. I don't know why people were coming for this guy. Me personally, what I'm seeing is a guy, a young father. You guys are forgetting that this is their first child. If you have ever had a child before, you know how it is when you have your first child. The excitement is like you've had the word, you know, it's like you've gotten something that you have never. Of course, it is something that you have never gotten before. It's something that nothing can be compared to having a child, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about other people, you know. The excitement, the joy, and the love. You see that little creature as a precious thing that you want to protect him or her. You want to do everything you can to make sure that this child have the best. And what I'm seeing is a father having genuine concern about his child. I do not see anything wrong with it, and of course he has come out to explain, which I do not think is necessary. Well, for some people, I was discussing it with my friend, and she said that it is necessary that he come out to clear himself, because people have this way of thinking, you know, that people will just carry it along and be running away with it. That is a good thing that he came to explain himself and all those things. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the only person he owes that explanation and if apology or whatever is to his wife, not to the public, because people can say whatever they like. Even with him coming out to say, explain the whole thing, there are still people who will not be satisfied with it. I can understand the mothers. I know some mothers are genuinely concerned, because I know that breastfeeding is not something easy. I personally, it's always very difficult for me to produce milk, you know. And when the child, at a point in my life, one of my kids, when the child is sucking, it hurts so much, because the child is hungry and the baby wants more and the baby is not getting more. So I can understand all these things, but I do not see the reason why people should take it as if it's one thing. What I'm seeing there is a genuine father feeling very concerned, sincerely concerned about his baby, and a patient mom who is trying to explain to her husband what she's going through. I can understand the lady. I can understand if she misunderstands her husband's genuine concern about the whole breastfeeding issue. It is absolutely fine. This is a young mom, a new mom for that matter. And the hormone, you know, the hormone during pregnancy and after birth is always messing up your system. A lot of people have postnatal depression after birth. It's absolutely fine. It is understandable. It happens. It happens and it's not a new thing. So I can understand if she's feeling some certain way or some certain ways that her husband is telling her this, it's absolutely fine. I'm sure they brought out this to let people know what young parents or young couple go through when they have a baby. This is something that we should take and learn something from it, not something that we should take and start bashing this couple. They came out to sincerely show this video. They could have decided not to show it, but I'm sure they brought it for a purpose. They brought it so that people will know that in case if you are going through this, so that you will know that you are not the only person, that there are people who are genuinely going through this, and you should learn one or two things from it, not coming out to start bashing the couple, bashing the man or whatever. The woman he spoke to, his wife, understood, and this is, you saw them talk about it, and the wife apologized. I don't know what is our problem, you know. So you guys should just let the guy be, please. I don't see anything wrong with it. All I see is a father who is genuinely concerned about his child and of course his wife. You know, he says something about they are a couple, they are in this together. Yes, I can understand he's a man, he cannot produce breast milk, he's not the one going through the breastfeeding, he's not the one who is producing the milk for the child. I can understand, and I can understand also the wife, you know, seeing it somehow. It is absolutely fine. It happens. And this is something that, for me, as a matter of fact, as I'm watching this, what is going through my mind is the patience between both of them. See the discussion. This is how it's supposed to be. Couples discussing head. I know a lot of us who have been married for years could not be this patient as this both husband and wife are, and they discuss this thing healthily. Each of them expressing how they feel. The wife was very patient, explaining to her husband how she felt, and the husband understood also. Maybe she must have said one or two things which she thought wasn't right, or the husband misunderstood, and she genuinely apologized for it. And why are we taking it too personal? Guys, I don't know. This social media of a thing, I think is making some people crazy. This video is already too long, much longer than I wanted it to be, because their video is very long. But I decided I wanted to cut it short, for you guys to see some clip, and then I'll come with my thoughts. But I thought that it's better that you guys see the whole video, because it will enable you, in case, because I'm sure that most of you might not have seen the video, and it will enable you guys understand at which point I'm coming from, so that you guys should understand what I'm saying. So guys, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Please do not forget that it is still I, Zeni, thinking out loud. It is Zeni's thoughts.